10 hours. Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Please, if you can hear me, kindly say good morning so that I will know that I'm not talking to myself. Please, can you set my screen? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining. Just to be sure that we are not talking to ourselves.
Good morning.
Thank you. Another day, another dollar. Another week, another dollar. Another day, another week, another dollar, another. I'm sure some people, we don't want Naira. So it should be another dollar. Or do we have anybody that wants Naira on this on this platform? If they tell us to pick dollar and Naira, I'm sure most of us are going to pick dollar and not Naira at this time. So once again, thank you so much for joining. My name is Damilola Olorunṣade, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of A Mobile Group. Thank you for joining the A Business Clinic. It's going to be an interactive section for every one of us, and it's a time for us to learn, unlearn, and of course, we're going to network. So quickly, we are going to, I love to pray. So I always try to commit everything I do to God. And Lord, we thank you. As we start this meeting, we ask that you take absolute preeminence. We ask that, Lord, you will give us a listening ear to hear, a heart to understand. And every one of us shall take knowledge to change our industry and to change our business. In Jesus' name, amen. My name is Damilola Olorunṣade. Just a brief profile about myself. I'm an innovative, self-motivated entrepreneur with a wealth of experience in the sanitation, hygiene, and pest control industry for over 15 years. I'm confident, I'm well-spoken negotiator. I'm a solution evolver. And of course, I'm the Chief Operating Officer of A Mobile Group, a one-stop shop for sanitation, hygiene, and pest control company. And we also have an academy that is called the A Mobile Group Academy, where we actually launch this product called the A Business Clinic. Now, I decided to embark in a male-dominated industry at a young age of 30. And I'm well known in Nigeria, not only as the sheet boss lady, the cleanest pest coach Africa, some call me the cleanest coach. And of course, I'm passionate about this industry. So one of the passion that I have about this industry, that was why we started this business clinic. And we are looking at using this as a medium to bring every one of us together so that we will understand what collaboration is all about, so that we can actually improve our industry. Our industry is emerging. And one thing we need to understand is our industry can actually make a lot of billions of dollars that the statistics have actually said this industry is. But for us to get there, we need to ensure that we work as one. We look at how we can build the industry together. We're not looking at how we can be, how we can look at, we're not after us getting unnecessarily upset. You understand? When you see other of our colleagues, they are doing well and you are just upset about it. No. Is not about that. So we want to ensure, so the whole essence of this business clinic is to ensure that we learn, we relearn, and of course we network. So we're going to be bringing, we've been having this. So a lot of people have been asking, oh, is this our first time? No. So we've been having this, but we now rebranded. One thing you should understand, that structure is continuous. Branding is continuous. So we actually rebrand every now and then to make sure, of course, your strategy and you are improving in your deliverables. So that's one thing that we do a lot in A Mobile Group. That's why I said I'm a very innovative and a very confident young lady. So you are in for a good ride today. We are going to be having myself and a very lovely sister, colleague in the industry that's going to be joining us, and he's going to be taking the pest control questions. I'll be taking the cleaning questions. Of course, she's also into cleaning, and she's been in the industry also for years, and she has a wealth of experience in pest control. I call her, if I have any challenge in pest control, I call her, because she understands the business, she understands the rudiments, she understands the biology, because a lot of us are into pest control, we do not know that we need to read. Let me just give you an hint. Now, this is a book. This is a book on having a license. I don't know, maybe some of us can see it. So I have this book. I'm actually writing an exam on pest control. You understand? So a lot of us do not know that we can actually build ourselves in the pest control business. Pest control is not just you mixing chemicals together, carrying back sprayer that you're spraying everywhere. Pest control has actually evolved. It has evolved. So it's more than you thinking, I just have to get those blue backpacks and I can start spraying, I can start mixing chemicals. Pest control has evolved. And one thing you should understand is our clients are also learning daily. Our clients are also understanding the business, because the internet is a village, is a big village. You can learn several things, and that's the truth. And you need to understand that if you do not improve yourself as a business owner, as an employee, then you are not going to be marketable. So I also like to talk about business affirmation. In our academy, we actually, it's important that we do business affirmation. And the reason, when you affirm something, you speak it to yourself daily, and you become that over time. So I would like every one of us to actually repeat this. I will learn and relearn today. So can you can actually unmute and say this business affirmation. Let's say this business affirmation together. I will learn.
I will learn and relearn.
I will learn today.
Today in
A Mobile Group Academy.
I will learn today.
And in A Mobile Group Academy, what will change my life and business positively? So can we say that? I will learn and relearn today in A Mobile Group Academy, what will change my life and business positively? So can we repeat it and speak that to ourselves? As we are going to...
I will learn
and relearn today and in A Mobile Group Academy,
what will change my life and business
positively.
Yes. Customers are giving positive reviews because of the training I am learning from today.
Customers are giving positive review because of the training I am learning
from today.
I confess my business will never remain the same again.
I confess my business will never remain the same again.
I am profitable. I am sustainable.
I am profitable.
I'm profitable, sustainable,
And I am bringing
bringing positive
positive to
yes,
change my
my
company,
company,
okay,
family,
family,
and
and
the
the
nation
nation
at
at
large.
large.
positive
Well
change.
done. Amen. Good.
Amen.
Yeah. So this is very, very important. One thing is in Nigeria, we are a religious country. And I always say this, you cannot take the culture out of a nation. It's not possible. We have a culture, and one of the culture is that we are religious. So, but one thing is every one of us must understand either you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, you need to ensure that, yes, your belief system, people can actually see it in your company, and they can see it that, yes, you are using it to affect your company positively. This is essential in nation building, in building your business. Yeah. So if you understand this, this is what is used all over the world. Yes, people say we are religious in Nigeria. Yes, if you go to India, they are religious. If you go to the US, they have what they believe in. And one thing is, you just have to understand everybody's culture. Is their culture that has made them to be who they are. So if you go to, for example, you go to Norway, they believe as in their culture, what they believe in has changed their country. Hong Kong, what they believe in has changed their country. They believe in truthfulness. They believe in integrity. So one thing I believe is we are a country that we are religious. And every religion in Nigeria, one way or the other, we always say that we believe in integrity. We believe that we can do this. But the challenge is we are not replicating it in our businesses. So that's why affirmation is important. So when you are affirming all these things, you are speaking to yourself, you are speaking to your business, you are speaking to your staff. Your staff also, they understand that, yes, you have a vision as a company. So all these things are essential. So let's just quickly, I'm just going to be picking some people randomly. So if I pick you randomly, don't be upset. If I don't pick you, don't be upset. Okay. Can we have Alicia Scrub, please? Alicia Scrub. Can you just tell us a bit history about yourself? 2 minutes, a brief history about yourself, quickly.
Okay, good morning, Mom.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Aisha of Elysian Scrub, and I actually just started the cleaning business, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to learn a lot of things from you, and also to change the narrative of cleaners being ordinary. I want to change the narrative that, okay, cleaners can be cleaners, but we also have professional cleaners in the industry. So just like you said too, that, we should try to impact the knowledge that we have, into our lives, I'm just hoping that I'm able to impact a lot of people's lives with my business by God's grace. And hopefully we are part of people that will change the nation as a whole as a professional cleaner. Thank you, Mom.
And well done. That's fantastic. That's doable. That's doable. Thank you. That's powerful. And welcome to the industry. It's a large industry.
Thank you.
I promise you, it's interesting, but you must be ready to learn because we all are going to change this industry. I was speaking to someone. Okay, I think I had a live this morning, and I was saying something that we need to start changing. Maybe we'll stop calling ourselves cleaners. So like the people that are doing the restroom in our company, I call them restroom specialists. Maybe we'll start calling ourselves technicians also, so people can maybe we'll start looking at, very touch word. We need to change the narrative. So we now need to be very, very creative. So, and we are going to do it. We are a force, and this is the whole essence of this business clinic. So we have the SH Janitorial Services. Can we have you, please? SH Janitorial Services. We don't have to see your face, but let's see. If you want to see your face, why not? We are all pretty and beautiful.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Serike Ling. The CEO of SH Cleaning Services. I've actually started my cleaning business since 2020. When I was still in school then, though I was not that full in it. I go once in a while when I'm available. But I finished school last year, so I go fully in the business. At times it's challenging. At times you can't please supply. At times some you deal it to they'll appreciate it more than so. But joining this, I want to go fully into pet control. Though I'm doing the little one I can do at commercial house, which is when we'll go for cleaning, just start them with some little fumigation, which is insects. I don't actually go into those big pets, which is the rats. And so joining this, I want to know more. Then go industry in pet control. So those are just what I can say about mine. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, welcome. Thank you. Fantastic. It's nice to hear that you want to go into pest control. You should be ready to learn, ready to read. Pest control requires a lot of reading. So that's what every one of us must understand. Can we have this last person, Danny Skills? Is the person there? Okay, can we have Mr. Jerry Alfred? Mr. Jerry. Is Mr. Jerry there? I can see your face, Mr. Jerry. Okay, is Miss. Okay, is a madam. Okay, sorry. I can barely hear you. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly.
All right. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
I am here, Jerry Alfred from Bayelsa.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, T-Sparks Cleaning Services. I started in the year 2018 after school. It wasn't really that much when I started, but it's better. And with everything I've learned from you online unknown to you, I've been able to carry it on. And this year, December will make us 5 years. So on I hope to learn and apply what I learned to my business. But I started from pest control, normal mosquito and all of that this year. So I just hope I will learn and still learn. Thank you, ma.
Oh, thank you. You made my day. Thank you. I'm really grateful. I don't take it for granted. Thank you. You know, those are the things that makes you to even want to do more. So when people ask, oh, what's your passion? How come, you have this passion? I said, you know what? I just want to impact people. A-Mobile is all about impact. One thing as business owners, you need to understand, impact is important in your business. If you don't have that impact, especially because we are doing a service business. Service business, you need to be impactful. Your impact is needed. And it is not only A-Mobile. Yeah. It is not only going to be Mega P's. Every one of us can, and we can. You are in Bayelsa, you need to make that impact. Yeah, you need to create the impact. People must understand that, yes, our industry is not just for anybody. It's an industry that is for professionals. We also will learn. We use a lot of money to learn, and that's the truth. And we can improve and we can get better. We are very important in every home. Every home needs us. So thank you for always following us. I'm really grateful. Thank you. I don't take it for granted at all. All right, Mr. Akibile, should we take you the last, because I can see your face here. I'm so interested. Mr. Akibile, can we get to know you? Mr. Akibile Akisumbo. Wow, my name too is Sumbo. Do you know that? Can you unmute yourself? Okay, I'm sure you can hear me. All right, good. Fantastic. So it's nice to know that we are all joining to learn. So let's fire on. Now, please, you can actually be typing your questions in the chat box as we go. So I'll be taking the cleaning questions as we go. Now, Omi Clean says, good morning, everyone. My question is on leadership. I'm often conflicted between being too nice with staff and being strict when need be. I would like to know how to strike a healthy balance between the two. This particular question, I have some of our team here. They can actually testify that this is my story. So you need to understand that as a leader, there's something called emotional intelligence. So it was when I understood that there's something called emotional intelligence. That was when I was able to change a lot of narratives in our business. So let me just quickly see if I can bring out a document on emotional intelligence quickly for us. Just a minute. So one thing we need to understand is, as business owners, we need to understand that you will always have this kind of challenges, especially when you are like people like me, so that we always please, I'm trying to share the screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. So I'm just going to use this to explain. This was actually I did this training some time ago. And so I'm going to use this to make you to understand emotional training, as in what's the way to answer this question. Leadership takes a lot of things from us. You need to understand that you have to have sympathy and empathy. When you have some of your staff and they want to take you for granted, that really makes you very, very upset. So this particular person says, my question is on leadership. I'm often conflicted between being too nice with staff and being strict when need be. I would like to know how to strike a balance. Now, I had that problem myself. But when I was able to determine when not to be emotionally attached, I was able to differentiate and eat very, very well. So I'm just going to quickly take us through something. Now, you need to understand that emotional intelligence is important as a business owner. Now, what is emotional intelligence? Is the ability to manage your emotions, ability to understand, use, and manage your emotions appropriately as a business owner in order to relieve stress, scale your business, empathize with staff, clients, and vendors. Also, emotional intelligence, embracing emotional intelligence cannot be neglected at any point in time in your business. Every great company and leader, they take emotional intelligence as a key activity. So emotional intelligence is what I'm going to use in answering this question, because that was what I've been using and it has been helping. Because let me tell you, I'm a very, very nice person. I think my team can actually confirm. I'm very, as in, you don't want to know. And I now notice that people always take me for granted. So for example, you give them time off and you're now saying you have worked though, and they're now saying you are meant to pay me because I'm doing this. And I was like, what is all this? I've already told you people that this is what we are going to do. We are working overnight. We are doing, this is the job that we are doing. And they will now want to take you for granted. Some of them are even decide that night they don't want to work again. And they will now, some people will now be their own master. And they will now take that your niceness as stupidity. But do you know why they do that? Most times it's because our communication system is not properly developed. So we had that kind of challenges also. And what we were able to do was we now started doing documentation. Now, your documentation to the part of, you start even your WhatsApp, create a WhatsApp group. Let them understand this is the system. This is what you are meant to do. Don't be over nice and don't be over wicked. I don't know. So you have to balance it. Now, balancing it is a problem because for you to be able to balance it, this is where you need to now start creating a bit of structure in place. So it simply means is, for example, they go to work. Now you want to give them extra money for feeding. Can you ensure that the extra money that you want to give for feeding, is actually passed on to the manager or to the team lead? The team lead communicating also to them so that everybody understands the reason why you are giving them this extra money. Because when they are leaving, when staff are leaving, they will not tell anybody that you were nice to them. I had a particular staff that we were extremely nice to. But let me tell you, when this person was leaving, before this person even left, this person has actually painted the company in a very bad way. And I felt really bad. I said, oh my God, this was someone that I can do anything for. But we were able to see our mistakes that we did not document some certain things. And because of that, we had to change several things that we need to start documenting. Don't be extremely too nice. You understand that you will not follow proper structure that you have put in place. Some of us, I also do it. We'll put policies down and we are not following the policies. But you know what? We were getting better as time goes on. Don't be too hard on yourself. I was very hard on myself. I said, oh my God, I put this down. I'm the one that is flaunting it. At the long run, when you are too hard on yourself, you won't be able to get the results. Don't be wicked and don't be too nice. You have to be in between. And the only way that you can be in between is by documenting things. So for example, when they go out, do you have overtime? How much is their overtime? Who is going to be paying their overtime? Yeah. All those things are what? They are important. Let it be documented. Let it even be that even if you are the only person that is running the show, send it by text message. Start putting things, paper and pen. Don't let it be that people will come with you with stories and you accept stories. I've heard stories. Our HR is not on there because she went out. She's under a lot of training and she said, you always say that people can say stories. We are different. You will employ people and people will continue to take your niceness, for granted. Now, when they do that, when people leave us, what I've learned is when people leave our company now and they mess up, we want to go and check what we have done wrong. So we had someone leaving now. So I had to go and check, okay, what is it that we did wrong? What is it that we need to do better? Why did this person leave? You understand? Was I over nice to this person? And I was able to understand one thing, that I was a bit of the problem one way or the other. Most times is we the business owners that are the problem. It's not that the staff are not, they don't want to take us for granted. But it's just that we have not put some things in place. We also in A-Mobile, We are learning. That's why we are actually doing this kind of program, because we are also using it to learn. Every one of us are growing together as a business owner. So always understand that your emotional intelligence in this kind of thing is important. You don't want to create an atmosphere of overnight, you understand, in your company. And at the long run, it's going to be affecting your bottom line. Staff will take you for granted. Document the things that they are meant to do. Now, if you know that you want to turn this also into a very lovely thing, you understand? If you want to turn it into a very lovely scene for your staff, yeah, you can. If you document things properly, your staff will be able to understand this is what they are meant to do. They know that there's policies. So when they do well, what do you do for them? How do you say thank you? Like, for example, in our company, at the end of the year, we have made it that we are going to be doing end of the year award. So everybody now should be looking forward to the award. So if you like, work well. If you like, don't work well. So these are the things, that can actually assist us as business owners. And you need to also create a balance for yourself. Are you the type? In our own company, we have an open door policy. Our staff do not see us as a mini god. You understand? Our staff do not see us as a mini god in our company. But it doesn't mean that they should disrespect you. And we always say, don't look at our overniceness to be unnecessarily, don't take it for granted. So when they take it for granted, we started closing a lot of doors. You understand? And we will now look at it again. We will restructure, so that's why your structure, your policies, put your policies in place. Let it be that your policy, you understand, those your niceness, you want to be giving money house. You want to be giving holidays out. Can you put it in your structure, in your policies, your procedures? Let it be there. If it's there, your staff will be happy. They will know they are working with a company, you understand, they understand what leadership is all about. So I hope I've answered that question. If Omi Clean is online.
Yes, you have. Thank you, ma'am.
Also good. Now, another question says, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the platform. Please, how do I get to make your staff loyal and dedicated to your brand? We had that challenge. So when we're starting, we are 16 years in the business, and we had that challenge of staff not being loyal. Loyalty is a two-way thing. It is. You have to be loyal to your staff, and your staff is going to be loyal to you. So it's a two-way thing. Then you have to understand that as a business owner, a lot of us, we don't trust our staff. We do not trust them. For your staff to be loyal to you, you have to create an atmosphere of trust. You have to create an atmosphere. Let me tell you, if you want to grow your business, you have to trust your staff. I had that challenge too. I just don't want to. I'm like, I'm afraid. I'm akagom. I don't, the meaning of akagom. They will steal my money. They will steal my customers. You cannot build your business that way. Thank God for my husband. We run the company together. He always tells me that, you can't do everything on your own. Don't kill yourself. That's why you have employed people to do the job. You have to trust. So if you want your people to be loyal, start with yourself to trust them. Then you also have to be loyal to them. Now, I remember we had a particular team one time, and they will always say, when we say something, we don't, we do something else. Learn to have feedback from your staff. So we were not getting feedback. We were doing a bit of only us. Create an atmosphere of feedback in your business. Don't be too big that your staff cannot come to you and give you feedback. Let them give you feedback about the company, about yourself. Because if you leave feedback only to the line managers, your line managers might not be doing justice. We had that challenge and we didn't know that one of the line managers was not doing justice and was giving us a bad feedback. And by the time we knew, I'm telling you, it was God that helped us. The business would have actually collapsed. But thank God, God saved us. So one thing is creating an atmosphere of trust. Also, ensuring you have an atmosphere of feedback in your company. Your feedback, do a random feedback. You can pick someone from like any center. You can pick any of your technicians. Just get feedback from them. Oh, come, what do you think? And what do you think about our company? Let them feel the business. Let them feel that you love them. Let them take ownership. You know, call them together. Let them understand that this business is not for us only. I always say something to our team. All of us are eating in the same pot. We are eating in the same pot. If A Mobile makes it, every one of us is going to make it. If A Mobile do not make it, it means that there's no salary increments. So you need to create that conversation. A lot of us don't have conversation with our team. We are too rigid. We are unnecessary too strict. We don't create an atmosphere of fun, for them. Don't forget that your staff, they spend a lot of hours in your business, more than even some of them spending with their family. Yes. So you need to create an atmosphere of fun so that they can see your place of work, your place of business as a place that they can rely on. Are you the type that you promise something and you don't fulfill it? Those were some of the mistakes we made when we're starting. And now I'm always even telling all the line managers, I don't want to hear that you are paying salaries late. We promise something and we must keep to it. If you keep to your promises, your staff will be loyal to you. I'm telling you, they will be loyal. Now, don't get me wrong. Every staff you can have 100 staff. All of them cannot be loyal. In the Bible, when we had the disciples, who know that, I'm sure Jesus never knew, Jesus knew that he was going to be betrayed. But the other team never knew that they had a betrayer, which was Judas on the team. So you will always have a Judas one way or the other on your team. So don't be afraid when any one of them betray you. But you will always have some people that will be loyal to you. I'm telling you, you will always have it. If you have the challenge that you don't have your team that are loyal, that means you need to look inward in your business strategy, your structure. Look at what you are doing. That means maybe you are doing something wrong. There's something that you are doing that is actually wrong. Those were the things that we saw, because when we noticed that we're not getting a bit of loyalty the way we wanted to, we had to look inward. And another thing is, the stage that we are in now is sometimes is not necessary that you actually sack at every point. We have done it also. We have done that mistake. Now we are not making that mistake. You don't have to sack at every point in time. No. Have a structure in place. Is it that maybe you give them a warning letter? After the warning letter, you want to suspend? After suspension, have a very good structure in place. Let them understand that there is a process to all these things. And if they do, it's going to assist you as you are building. And your company, the team also will be loyal. But don't forget, you cannot have all your people. It's not every time. It's not every business. Some business have this, don't get me wrong, that maybe everybody's loyal. But if everybody in your team is not loyal, let me tell you, is allowed. There will always be a Judas. But don't forget, I tell our team, a Judas in the team will always be a fugitive. If you're a Judas, remember what happened to Judas. The same money that Judas collected to betray Jesus was the same money they used in buying his burial ground. So if you are a Judas in A Mobile, don't use your hand, you understand, to bury your future. because at A Mobile, we will ensure every staff that is in A Mobile, their future is settled. Create an atmosphere that they can know that their future is settled. So that's why that's what we are planning in this business clinic. We want to build a team. We want to build an industry together that people will want to work in our industry because they know that if we tell them that we are going to pay them 50,000, you are not going to deduct their salary. You won't pay them at the end of the day 40,000. Of course, you have to deduct their salary if they spoil anything. I tell our team, you spoil anything, they will take it from your salary. It's simple. You are going to be deducted. If you know that you don't want to be deducted, take the company's equipment as yours. Let it be as if you own it. Take ownership. And you need to continue to say this to your team. It's not easy. I'm telling you. It's not. I'm talking from experience. You have to continue to communicate. Your communication level, you need to continue every day. Look for different avenues that you can use to communicate this kind of thing to your team. All these things are important. I hope that answered that question. And I hope we are learning. Please, if you are learning something, please type in the chat box. Encourage me, encourage me, encourage me. Please encourage me. If you know that you're learning something, just type in the chat box. Give me a thumbs up if you're learning something, so that it won't be that you understand, I'm just talking into the hair. You know, it's always encourage me to. You're learning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, so we have Madam my Oga, she's my Oga in the industry. My Oga of pest control, she's actually around now. She's the one that will be answering the next question. The next question. And the next question, I'll be giving the next question to her. She's this is Obiora, and she'll be telling us also about who she is. I don't want to talk too much.
You better talk, sis. Talk, because you know me well. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I think it's a pleasure and it's a grace to be here today. I'm sorry I'm a bit late. Something came up from my end, but thank God, at least at the end of the day, I'm here, to discuss whatever questions, issues that you might have bordering around pest control, service provision, challenges you might be facing or you faced in the past, and all that. So I say good morning to us once more. Okay. Yeah, by the grace of God, my name is Sanitarian Obiora Nnenea Precious. Okay. I am an EHO, environmental health practitioner, environmental health scientist, and environmental health officer, if you might like to use that. And of course, I'm also an EHS expert because I'm a level 3 officer as far as environmental health safety is concerned. Okay. I lecture at the Nigerian Army School of Medical Sciences. And I'm also I don't usually like calling myself the CEO, but my Cs usually love to use that. I love calling myself the Chief Operating Officer because I try to see that I'm part and parcel of my operational process and procedure. So that's why I feel so comfortable using that, that icon for myself. And to be sincere with you, if you want to be the real executive that you ought to be in your establishment, you must deliberately or indeliberately involve yourself with your operation, whether you are there or you are not there. Because the truth of the matter remains, nobody can do it like you. No matter how you train people, that your small 1 minute impact goes a long way. Yeah, you can actually train people that will resemble you, but they cannot be you. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's that. So let me go straight to this first question. It says, what can we do to minimize termite risk? Of course, let me tell you the truth. I don't know where the state or the location where you're typing from, but most of the zones within these our tropics is situated on termite infested zone. Let me put it that way. And that's why you discover that most buildings, they may not notice this infestation until when the buildings are completed. And maybe people must have moved in some years after living there. Why? Because the zone where we are is a termite infested zone, and most times it's a subterranean termites. So for you to reduce or minimize termite risk, it has to start from when the project is concepted, or when the conception of the project is being considered. When probably the builder or the owner of the site or whatever has plans to develop that place. Because if you understand now, the kind of developmental movement that we are having now, it's like we are encroaching into, how will I put it, areas that were not mapped out for residential before. We're encroaching into the forest to build houses because of population explosion, urbanization, and stuff like that. So people are moving into the bushes, into the forest areas to create habitation for human. And as we are doing that, remind or know that termites lives 500 meters down below. That's their habitat. There's nothing you can do about it, okay? And then when it is a termite zone, of course, most times you see them foraging out, especially when they have access to logs, to things that they eat because they love cellulose, okay? So to minimize termite risk, like I said, starts from when that project is conceived. And that's why we are advocating for what we call the pipe reticulation system these days. Pipe reticulation system is a system of network of pipes that is connected before the floor casting, foundation floor casting is done. In fact, that's what we are proposing now. I think I have some that I've done already, and there is a particular one that we are about to launch into. It's somewhere at Lekki. Okay, we have written the proposal, we have discussed with the client, and they are looking at all the whole indices that we have set out to them. That's the best way you can remove or reduce the risk of termite invasion or infestation in any building. That's the best. And if that level or if that point is missed, that means you are left with no other choice but the choice of drilling. That is when the building had actually been completed. But mind you, this issue of drilling, of course, because you might not be there when the pipings and sewer pipes, water pipes, and all that have been laid, there might be chances of busting pipes when you're trying to drill to get to points where you will inject the termiticide that you want to use. So if you ask me as a professional pest controller or pest management person, I will tell you that the best point to reduce the risk of termite infestation or invasion in any structure is when that project is being conceived, so that you pipe it in the project lifestyle or life cycle rather. You pipe it in. That's the best. Okay, and mind you that pipe reticulation system can be a beautiful sell point for the project owners, people that want to buy that project, because most times now developers, they develop projects and they sell. It can be a very beautiful sell point. So if you're able to convince your clients, who possibly might be a developer, might be a property, all these property managers and stuff like that, okay, it can go a long way. And that's pipe reticulation system can secure that project, that property, that structure for life. Because it's designed in such a way that intermittently, after 3-4 years, you inject termiticide that flows through that reticulation pipes, which will be perforated along different points. And it will release the termiticide into the soil. So wherever the termite is coming from, there is a barrier control already, and there is a barrier protection. So that is the best, if you ask me. Any other intervention that you want to bring to termite control in any structure is medicine after, but God will help us. That can still work anyway, but of course you understand. That time you're doing more of trial and error. You understand? So I don't know whether I'm able to answer that question. If that question is answered, please, you can signify by giving me a thumb up, like my sister will always say. Okay, pest control checklist. Okay, now for the do's and don'ts, I'm moving on to the next question. For the do's and don'ts for the pest control checklist. Of course, you that is designing the pest control checklist, you know what you want in the checklist, okay? So the do's are those things that your pest control will cover, and the areas that you want to address. It's as simple as that. And the don'ts is those areas that, of course, you must have discussed with your clients, the areas that you know that your intervention will not cover, and the areas that your expertise will not cover. Very, very important. I always tell people, let me use this ticks control as an example, okay? If you're designing a do's and don'ts checklist for ticks control, if you are not a trained veterinary doctor, one of your don'ts is that you don't administer any control for ticks on the body of the dogs. You don't even go there, because you can do what I always call oversyllables, and that can land you in jail. Some of these Rottweilers, some of these German Shepherds, some of these Caucasian dogs, they are very, very expensive, and their owners spend so much money on those dogs. Now you coming in to do your pest control for ticks, maybe they complained of ticks, and they ask you, can you handle this on the dogs? Oh, you say, yeah, wow, because you are looking for a job, because you want to collect money. And you know, these dogs are very fragile. They are not like our local dogs, okay, that can withstand pressure, that can resist some things. Any little exposure to some of these things on these dogs, they will die. And that person can sue you, and that person can take that action can land you in jail. So in your design of your checklist, for me, that aspect is a don't. You don't agree to do what you know you don't have the capacity to do, except if you have a veterinary doctor in your team. Like when I have such jobs, I have a veterinary doctor that I usually call, and we have to look at the whole scenario. First of all, we'll ask them, do you have a vet? If he has his own vet, the vet has a history, because dogs are like human. You know, when you take them to, if you have a particular hospital that you use, okay, that doctor there will have your case history. So that veterinary doctor understands that dog more than any other, except if that client is telling you, I don't understand what this my vet is doing, I want to change. You can bring just your vet in, and then you people will now run, you know, history checks and a lot of things before you agree to undertake that treatment. And that's the truth. So going overboard of what you know you cannot, for me, is a complete don't. Don't even venture. But every other aspect that ought to be in your checklist, of course, these are your do's, and you need to put them there. It will make your job fantastic. It will also make your client to trust you and know that you know what you are doing. Okay? I hope somebody is getting what I'm saying. And if at any point you are not okay, please, you can signify. Now, this person asks, how can we carry out pest control in a canteen or in a centralized kitchen? Very beautiful. Yeah. Now, carrying out your pest control in a canteen or in a centralized kitchen, of course, the first thing you do, you must inspect that place and find out what kind of pest problem, pest history that place, that kitchen or that centralized kitchen or that canteen has. And then when you understand the pest that you're going to deal with, okay, you now decide the kind of approach that you're going to adopt for that treatment. And the kind of approach you adopt will also determine the timing that you're going to use for that treatment. Of course, you know that canteen during the days, they have human traffic more. So for me, doing a centralized kitchen and a canteen, when you have identified what the problem is and you have taken decision of what to use, which must be a public health procedure. I don't joke with that. Because kitchen for me is a life wire. It's a lifeline. That's where food and food materials are, prepared for human consumption, for public consumption. And if anything should go wrong there, a lot of people will go down, which might also be you, because you might purchase what is produced in that canteen without even knowing it. A lot of canteens now send out orders. So you can send out your order without knowing that you are buying what you went back to contaminate. So that's why it's very, very important. Whatever you do, whatever you do in this process, of course, I'm coming from the point of an environmental health scientist and a public health advocate, because that's the angle I always look at things. Whatever you do in a corner can end up coming out in the larger society, because you never can tell who interfaces with that action of yours. It might even be your child. The school might decide to order something from that same place that you went to do anyhow, and your child might end up taking up or consuming that thing. So that kitchen or central kitchen or canteen treatment has to be taken with due environmental health or public health procedure. Very, very important. So if you have decided what to use, which must be public health approach, you now decide the timing. And I said that the timing is usually best at night when the traffic is less. Okay? You can go move in there and do whatever you need to and get the whole place treated, get the place rid of whatever pest that the issue might be, and then the place is good to go. So I think that's my response to that question. I don't know whether it's okay by the person that answered the question. We don't blast kitchen, we don't blast canteen. I've always said that. Canteen and kitchen is not a place that you go to do your fogging. It's not a place that you go to do your broker spraying. I can't remember the last time I actually sprayed the kitchen. Yes. I always advocate for spot treatment, gel application, baiting. Of course, you can bait with anything you can think of. When we talk about baits, we're not only talking about rodenticide and stuff like that. Yes, you can do gel baits. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, you can apply your dust. That's why I said depending on the issue in that place. And most times the issues in kitchen is usually Supella longipapa or German cockroach, or you have invasion of ants, or it's rodents. There's nothing more than this. If it's a kitchen where water control is not put in place, that's where you can actually have an issue of centipede and millipede coming up. But with your spot treatments of those places and advising them to make sure that their water is put under control, the sink point is not leaking out, because these things are looking for water. Their body dehydrates easily. So in the quest for water, that's why you see them coming out from drain points, okay? So come and look for water. If they don't get water, they will dry up. That's how their system is, okay? They always love water and decayed veggies and all that. So that's what brings centipede and millipede to kitchen, okay? So even if you have that, that doesn't warranty you or guarantee you spraying that place. You can actually do treatment, spot treatment, whatever that you want to use, which is designed for food grades, and you will get your results 100%. Okay, so that's my, as far as that question is concerned. So the next question. Okay. Which location at risk of pest infestation? If you ask me, every location is at risk. All right. Every location, pest is not limited to any particular place. So long as there are variables that encourages their foraging in that place. And of course, for pests to forage in any place, there are factors that encourages them: food source, water source, okay, places of hibernation, okay, and access points. Anywhere you have these four things, you always have pests. So anywhere, factory, in industry, schools, in offices, and all that. But I will tell you, in all these places you mentioned, hotels, eateries, canteen, name it, most places, the place that has the highest infestation level will always be where food is more pronounced. And that's where food are being processed, because they thrive more where you have organic waste. Okay? Organic waste, of course, you understand what I mean by organic waste. All these waste that we generate as a result of food preparation, they are decaying. They are organic material, so they decay. And as they are decaying, of course, these are the things that pests love, having enjoying and all that. And another one is where you have food that are not protected, where you keep food indiscriminately. So anywhere that you have food source, you will have pests more there. But pests can forage any place, anywhere, so long as there's food. If there's no food, where they have shelter, where they can hibernate, where they can, breed, reproduce, and all that, okay? And then where you have miscellaneous junks and stuff like that, of course, that also gives them that shelter, okay? And where you have access points, even when they reproduce elsewhere, they can find an access point to another location. So that's why I put that access point. So pests can be anywhere, but where you have food materials, organic waste, these are places that they are more pronounced than any other. Okay, how often do I need to carry out pest infestation or pest reduction strategy? Yeah. So the next question is, how often do I need to carry out pest infestation? I said no to that infestation. Pest control or pest reduction strategy. Now, statutorily, the public health law and the Environmental Health Practice Guide of revised 2016 stated that every regulatory premises ought to be disinfested at least quarterly. That's what the law states. But sometimes you can actually use your discretion. Okay? You can actually use your discretion. Like, let me tell you the truth. There's no school, let me use school environment for an instance now. There's no school that will agree that they will do their pest control every quarter because they will tell you there's no money. Okay? And when you look at that place, except if it's a school that runs a boarding facility and then they have kitchen facility and all that, that will have such issues. You hardly get pest complaints more from schools. That doesn't mean that it's not there, okay? But in those kind of places, you can actually use your discretion for every 4 months, okay? But ideally, statutorily and legally, the law states for every quarter, that is every 3 months, every regulatory premises ought to be treated, to be disinfested, okay? Now for homes, of course, because you know that home is more unique because we have children, we have aged and stuff like that. For me, the most interface you can have in homes is twice in a year. Okay? Twice in a year. So that you don't expose your clients more, especially for those of us that believe so much in spraying. Okay? But pest management is not all about spraying. Okay? I have some residential clients that I have plants with. I do their kitchen every 3 months. We'll go in there, do the bedding, like I said, do the spot treatment, and their kitchen is rid of any kind of Supella or German cockroach you can think of, okay? But their comprehensive treatments for their rooms and all that is restricted every 6 months because of children and, you know, aged ones and other people that might have some inherent health-related issues that you may not know. So it's not always good to expose people to pesticide spray, okay? Even if it is the public health one, it's not always good, okay? So for residential, you don't have control over it. You understand? Because somebody can do treatment when his pocket says he should do. You know, it's a pocket that determines how often. But I always tell them, ideally, you can do 2 times in a year, which is at least to give your home a very beautiful, you know, atmosphere, free of germs, free of pests, and then enhance their well-being. Okay, so that's about that. Okay, so the next question online is, what are the disadvantages and advantages of pest control? Wow. Disadvantages and advantages of pest control. Well, if you ask me, the advantages, let me start with the advantages. The advantages are numerous. Because if you look at the consequences of allowing pests in your environment, this will be the advantages of taking them out of your environment, if I put it that way. Of course, you know that most of these pests we are talking about are vectors of disease carriers, vectors of disease agents, bacteria, viruses, rickettsia, and helminths, and all the rest of that. And these are the things that makes us sick, hospitalizes us, can even make somebody to have a, how will I put it, debilitating effect. Like if you have someone that is bitten by Mansonia mosquito, okay, that transmits these elephantiasis and stuff like that. That's a very serious issue. The person is meant for life, okay, except if God helps and divine, you know, serious interventions, okay. So when it comes to issues of, you know, when we talk about malaria issues and mosquito issues, of course, a lot of people, our minds and hearts goes to malaria alone. But there are other issues. Yellow fever is an issue there. It's a very serious liver compromising disease. You have elephantiasis. You have a whole lot of that. Okay. So if this pest is not put under control, that could result to disease outbreak, you know, sicknesses, in and out of hospitals, paying of bills, hospital bills that you do not bargain for, and stuff like that. Of course, when you control these pests, that is what? That is an advantage for you. Another one, destruction of properties. Okay? These pests, if care is not taken, if they are not handled as they ought to, let me use in the case of rodents infestation for an instance. Rodents infestation, if rodents know an electrical cable and there is a surge, that house can be set on fire. And you know what that means. Destruction of properties, loss of millions of naira. If a house is set on fire because there is a cable that was gnawed by rodents or rats or mice or whatever you desire to call it, and there is an electrical spark that resulted to outbreak of fire, how do you justify that? So, but when you take care of the rodents, what have you done? You have saved yourself of that stress. What about other property damages? Sometimes rodents, that thing is something else. You can know your very fine dress, that one is condemned. Your shoes, that one is gone, and issues like that. What about the Lassa fever, taking you back to the disease issue? The same rodents. People have lost their lives. What can you use to quantify life? So the importance of pest control cannot be overemphasized. Okay? Now, the only disadvantage I can talk about there is just the inconvenience. That's all. The inconvenience that maybe the people that owns the facility, because they need to step out for some hours and stuff like that, maybe 2 hours or thereabout for you to do the treatment that you want to do. Okay? So that can be the only disadvantage. To me, that's it. Or the little money the person will pay, which you cannot compare to the hospital bills you're going to pay, the damages to properties, damages to crops, damages to products or product that is in the warehouse. Do you know a lot of people that loses millions because maybe, let me say, like all these people that deal on grains, you know, and they stock up grains and weevils enters into it and the whole of the grains, oh my God, is destroyed. Do you know how much the millions that the people are counting? Sometimes you get to some people's warehouse and you see what the damages that pest has cost them there. A whole lot of money, a whole lot of properties damaged. So you can't even talk about that. So for me, the only disadvantage I would think about is just the inconvenience from the side of the person that is receiving the service, because you need to leave the space for some hours and get back again. But apart from that, advantages, your health is promoted, your well-being is enhanced, your asset is improved. Let me say, like in the issue of termite control, termite containment and stuff like that. You're not running up and down. Hey, termites here. I don't know, my building, some of these building collapse that you see here and there, some of them is attributed to termites. But because you have not started looking at that side, yes, it's attributed to it. Some degree percent of it is attributed to it, and that's the truth. Okay, so that's one. It's okay. How often can clients use RAID, aerosol in their homes? Clients do ask. Well, if you ask me, a client that is actually doing that is meticulous in doing his or her pest control, and of course, you know that pest management is not only application of pesticide and all that. There are other sides to it. You can do habitat modification. You can do environmental control. You can do screening and stuff like that. Okay. So if you advise your clients along that line, they can only use RAID and all these whatever only when it is necessary. Because if your house is properly treated, you will discover that 2-3 months, you may not even apply anything and everywhere is calm, everywhere is cool, okay? But that can only be used when they feel it is necessary. It shouldn't be an everyday stuff, especially for clients that have little children, babies below 2 years below. Because all these things, and you know the funny thing is that most of them, when they apply these things, they stay indoor. Yes, when they apply some of this aerosol and all that, they stay indoor because they look at it that sometimes these things are not smelling. They have forgotten that the kids are picking them up, you know, because they're mixed up with the air, okay, because it's vaporized and it's mixed up with particulate matters. Of course, when they breathe in, they take off some of these things, and that can have some effect in the respiratory system. Mind you, children, babies, especially those of them 2 years down below, their respiratory system is not actually that strong like we, the adults. So we have to be very careful, advise them appropriately. They can only use it when they think is necessary. Okay, but if they do their treatment as at when due and when they're supposed to, of course, they may not have need for it. I can't remember the last time I used reading wells. Since when last did you use reading wells? Okay, so that's that. Probably somebody was opening windows and all that. Okay. Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, doors is being opened here and there. Okay, but not something that you use every day. You can actually, instead of using raid, you can even propose this light trap, mosquito. Yes, this thing that looks like a bat. That's a tennis bat. Yes, you can use it and squash them up, and the whole place is fine. Sorry. Yes, it can also work. When you get to the wardrobe, open the wardrobe, because when mosquitoes get in, for them to feed, they first of all look for a place to hide, to rest. Okay, and most times it's wardrobe where you have dark clothes and stuff like that. So you can actually, beat up those places and allow them to come out and use that device to squash them out, and the place is okay, especially where you have little children. Okay, yes, someone is coming. So the next line of our question. Okay, what's the most common method of pest control? Of course, you know that pest control, we have different methods. You have chemical control method, you have physical control method, you have biological control method, you have environmental control method, that is habitat modification and stuff like that. You have genetic manipulation and all that. But if you ask me, the most common that people are used to is the chemical control, because of course they believe that one, the fastest means to get rid of them. But of course that chemical has its own effects on human health. Okay, so that's that. So that's why we are trying to lay much emphasis on chemical control and hype up integrated pest management that brings in different methods together. Even if you're going to use the chemical control, that will be the last resort. Okay. And then the next question is, what are the hygienic methods of pest control? Of course, the best hygienic method, if you ask me, is sanitation. Okay, environmental control. Okay, because an environment that is, properly cleaned, sanitized, and stuff like that, junks taken care of, garbages well managed, stored, collected, and disposed the way it's supposed to. And then, of course, if you have maybe openings here and there, block them off, make sure that the environment is clean and clear. You don't have overgrown bushes around. You don't have waste accumulated points somewhere and stuff like that. Definitely pests will be reduced. So that's the best hygienic method for pest control. Okay, sanitation, that's key. Anything beyond sanitation, of course, you'll be having them there. But sanitation is key. And that's the truth. Okay. The next one is, what are the factors one should think about when controlling pests? Well, the factors you need to think about when you're controlling pests is, number one, what kind of pests are you actually going out to control or to confront? And that leads me to say this. There is this quote in the Bible about a man that wants to take hold of a strong man. That before you can take hold of a strong man, you first of all bind that strong man. Okay, take him off from his stronghold before you can take possession of whatever that strong man has in there. Okay, let me bring this pest as a strong man that we are dealing with, because that's the strong man we are dealing with as far as pest management and pest control is concerned. You first of all have to understand the makeup of this strong man. Before you get to bind a strong man, you must look out for his weak points. You might look out for his faults. Do you understand? Now, what are the weak points? Let me say it like that. What are these weak points of this pest? What are these things that you need to look at for you to actually do a fantastic control as far as this pest that is the strong man you're going to deal with or you want to deal with is concerned? And that leads me to understanding the biology of pests. You need to understand it. You need to understand the habitat that favors them in a place and how you can manipulate that habitat and discourage them from coming there. It's part of the ways you can take away that strong man. Okay. Now you need to look at what are they susceptible to. Okay. These are the things. Okay. So when you want to control pests effectively, you have to look at these points. Okay. And then the area that you want to carry out the pest control, what are the things in that area that may not work for the method you want to use? Because some places there may be a method that you propose to use, and that method may not work in that environment. These are the things you need to look out for. You have to look at the kind of pest that you want to control. You have to look at the biology of that pest, the factors that encourages the breeding of that pest, and the habitat that encourages, that's the conditions in that environment that encourages them in that place. You have to look at it. Okay. Now you consider, are there factors within that environment that you want to launch out the control that can inhibit whatever method that you're bringing in? You have to put that into consideration. Okay. And then whatever method you want to come up with, do you have the facilities that will support it? Do you have the equipment? Do you have the expertise? Very important. If you don't have the expertise, of course, it's a factor. So you have to consider that, and it's very, very important. Okay. And then if peradventure you want to launch into the chemical control, you have to look at factors within that chemical that you want to use. Okay. Are there factors that will inhibit the effectiveness of that chemical that you want to use there? Let's say, for instance, maybe you decide to do dusting. That environment, is it an environment that will encourage the dusting? Is it subject to drift and stuff like that? Okay, it's very, very important. If it's an environment that you want to do broadcast, what kind of equipment would you use that will be so suitable for you in that place? These are the factors you also look into. Are you doing indoor? Are you doing outdoor? These are the things you have to look into that will help in making that pest control effective. The next one is, what materials do pest control service use? I don't understand this question. Are you talking about equipment? Are you talking about tools? Are you talking about consumables, pesticides, or whatever they're going to use? Of course, in pest control service, there are a whole lot that is brought into this process. You have equipment that ranges from manual operated to motor driven equipment. Okay, you have tools, okay, that you can as well be using, like your flashlight, like maybe there's some other instruments that you can bring in that will come in as tools. Okay, your camera and stuff like that. Okay, are you talking about the chemicals that you're going to be using? It's also part of the materials, if you ask me. Your PPEs is also part of the materials that you're going to be using. So you need your equipment, you need your tools, you need your chemicals, consumables, materials, you need your PPEs, and of course, that's that. So these are the materials that is very, very necessary as far as our pest control service is concerned. Then the next question says, what's the most effective method of preventing pest infestation in a home? I've talked about that. The most effective method is sanitation. That is the most effective method to prevent. The pests have not actually, you've not actually noticed the infestation, and you don't want the infestation to build up. So the best you can do is what? Continue to keep up sanitation in and around that your home or your facility, okay? And that will discourage pests from building up and stuff like that, okay? And then the last one for now is, what are the common pest issues? What are the common pest issues? Of course, the common pest issues are the general home pest issues. Roaches issues, rodents issues, centipede and millipede issues, even drain flies issues. Anything that has to do with public health pests. And then when you get to agricultural setting, they also have their own issues too. They also have their own issues too, which is really dealing with them, okay? Aphids, all these borers that bore their plant leaves and the seeds and all that. In the agricultural setting, they have series of issues too. Okay, series of issues. Of course, even when you get to the store pest, the store product pests, you also have issues too. Like sometimes you buy beans, and of course, you will discover that the beans has a lot of holes, perforations here and there, weevils here and there. It's also part of it. It's a very serious issue. Okay, that's those of them in that sphere is dealing with. Okay, so that's that. Pest issues ranges around where the pest infestation is being noticed. If it's in the household, of course, that's where you have all these household pest issues. If it's in the agricultural setting, that's where you have all these field pest issues. If it's in people that have livestock, their own problem is ticks, mites, and stuff like that with their livestock. Okay, so it's also an issue. Very serious livestock pest issues. You have
fantastic.
Yeah, you have.
I hope we're all learning.
I've talked about.
I'm learning so much.
Stock product pest issues. Structural pest issues too. You have, runways at the airport being ravaged by termites. Very serious one. Yes. Even sometimes surging birds. I think there was a time that birds prevented a flight from taking off. Yes, it's a serious issue. So it depends on the angle where you're seeing this from. Sometimes those of them that are in construction business, they tell you issues that they have with termites. It's not a small thing. Construction of bridges, yes, termites. So that's why we have structural pest issues. So that's why anything that has to do with structure, whether it's bridges, whether it's runways, whether it's buildings and stuff like that. So when you have pest issues there, it becomes structural pest issues. So, but most times what we are conversant with is these household pest issues. But there are more to pest issues. Okay, so that's why pest management business is a very wide, business that if you actually know what you're doing, you will keep having jobs. There's some people, like people that what they normally deal on is all these livestock, poultry treatments and all that. That's what they do. Do you understand? That's what they do. Sometimes you see somebody telling you that he has 1,000 birds and they're all dead because of bird flu and stuff. It's a pest. Mind you that we have macro and micro pests. Sure, Okay. So depending that, we talk about infestation because we're talking about micro pests. Okay. But we talk about infection when we talk about micro pests. Because those ones, you can't see it with your eyes yet. So that's where decontamination and disinfestation comes in. Okay. It's also an approach of pest control. You understand? So it depends on the angle where you're looking at it. there is job as far as pest control, pest management business is concerned. So it depends on the niche you're creating for yourself. And that's just it. So thank you. I think that's what we can take for now for questions as far as pest control, pest management is concerned. Okay, Simon.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I hope we are learning.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. If you know that you actually learned something from those questions, please, can you just give Madam Obiora a thumbs up in the comment section? If you know that, yes, you actually learned something. I have a question for her later on. I want her to tell us the difference between public health chemicals and the agro chemicals, because I know a lot of us are using agro. So she's still going to talk to us about that question. She's still going to answer that question before she leaves. Yeah, thank you. So everybody's giving thumbs up to Madam Obiora. Yes, she did justice to all those questions. And I'm sure we've actually learned one thing or the other from it. So, so there's another question from someone that said, my question is about cleaning. What are the alternatives to using harmful chemicals like O4 to cleaning a cement-baked window or floor during a post-construction cleanup? I love this question. So, the challenge that we are having in the industry is a lot of us are using chemicals that are harmful, not just to the environment, not just to maybe like the tiles, yeah, maybe like the windows, like the assets of the clients, but they're actually harmful also to us as individuals. And one of the chemicals that is actually common in this part of the world, in this part of Africa, in Nigeria, is what we call O4. Yeah, the sulfuric acid, O4 is what. Now, the thing is it that we don't use acid at all in cleaning? The answer is we use acid, but we use formulated acid. Formulated acid simply means that acid that have actually gone through series of tests, not the acid like the O4, the raw one, the sulfuric acid that can actually be a big danger to us as individuals. One thing we need to understand now is, as business owners, we give some of our staff this O4 to use. And you will notice that there will be smoke. Smoke will start coming out when they actually use this O4. That alone is even scary. The first time when I was starting business 16 years ago, I remember going to the market and I wanted to buy chemicals. And I went to Lagos Island precisely. And someone actually sold to me. I said I wanted a floor cleaner that is very good, that I want to use it for a post-construction job. And the person sold to me, of course, out of ignorance. The person that even sold it doesn't even know what that O4 is, because I was asking, I hope it's not acid. I said, this one will be acid, this one will be acid. The person doesn't even know what he was selling to me. And I bought it with the hope that it is a formulated product. But I was a bit skeptical because it was actually, no, they actually put it in a keg and labeled this, but it's actually raw acid that was in there. I took it, but one thing I always do is I try to use products, every product, I use it in my office, or in my house. I took it to my office. I used this, and I noticed that everywhere was with smoke. I was afraid. I said, "Yay, I'm going to burn down this building." I was that afraid. I just started back. I'm talking about like 15 years ago. I was afraid. That made me to decide that I am not going to use a wrong chemical, because I have asthma then, and with asthma, and inhaling such can actually, it can cause a lot of trouble. It can kill you right there and then. So when some of us are using this O4, we need to understand that we are actually killing ourselves, our staff. It's over time that we would destroy them, and it is wrong. Now, what are the alternatives? There are several alternatives. We use acid, but we use formulated acid, like I said. There are acid that has been formulated. They've been able to, as the chemists have done justice to this acid. We have a particular acid that is sea salt. It's called sea salt. Sea salt is very good for floor. So like maybe you have post-construction, and a type of, we don't use acid for most, not all floors can we put acid on. For example, your marble, if you try it on your marble, it's going to etch. Yeah. But there are some tiles, even some ceramic tiles, that you can actually use acid on, but not the O4. The O4 that some of us are even using, sometimes that's why you will notice after a while, the client's floor will be turning yellow. Is because of what we have actually used for them. And it's going to be later on, some of these our clients are going to understand that we are using O4 and the wrong products, and they will be upset with us. So the reason why we get cement bake, cleaning the cement bake, maybe on the floor, there is something we call efflorescence in cleaning when you're talking about floor care. Now, when you're doing a post-construction and you get this white stain on top of it, and some of us are cleaning. Some people, I remember some people just send something to me and say, I've used vinegar. Some people say, oh, go and use diesel. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Diesel? And I'm like, this is wrong. And they'll use the diesel, they're still not coming out, it's not effective, and later on, it will now turn white. But some of us will take the picture, we'll send it on social media. That social media thing is social media. It's called social. That's why it's called the social media. It is socialized. It's for us to be socialized ourselves and to lie. So a lot of us are always posting and to just be lying. That's why they call it social. Social. So some of you that are always like looking at pictures of some people and that, come and look at, I better go and learn what they are doing. You better don't go and learn rubbish. The point is, what's the reason why you see the white substance, you understand, when you're doing post-construction, is because of what is actually used, the grout line. So when the tilers, when they're actually doing the grout line, there's something called the Portland cement. So you notice now that they use in actually the white cement that they're always using. Is one of the reasons why we are having the whitish whatever on the tiles, and it's called efflorescence in cleaning, in tiles where you want to clean. One of the things that we are doing during the training is we are actually going to be looking at floor care. And when you have such things, you now need to know the type of tiles that you have. If a tile is a ceramic tile, for example, you can now decide to use maybe sea salt. You can decide to also use formulated acid to remove the efflorescence on it. Or better still, you can decide to use what we call a stripper. So I will show you what the floor polish is. Okay. I don't know. I don't think some of us can see it anyway. I think because of so there's something called floor polish remover. So in floor care service, we have what we call the stripping process. You can decide to use a stripper for your floor. There's a process for it. Or you can decide to remove the efflorescence on it using formulated acid like sea salt. Yeah, you can even use muriatic acid on some tiles. But before you can do that, you need to know the type of tiles you are dealing with. So that's why it's essential for you to understand the different types of tiles that we have. So if you have, for example, on your window, you are looking at, oh, you have very bad cement on it. The first thing first is always use water. Water is a solvent, and like Fela sings, water no get enemy. Is the truth. It doesn't have enemy. Water is the first solvent you must use in cleaning. So when you get there, ensure that you remove the dust first, and after that, you now use water. I see a lot of us, you understand, the first thing is you just start pouring your O4, you understand, on this is wrong. We have several scrapers that you can use, yeah, that are good to remove cement after you have actually soaked it with water. If water does not remove it, that is when you go to the next stage of using what we call a cement dissolver. A cement dissolver for windows, we have that as a product. Yeah, they are acidic, but they are not the acid of O4 that is extremely very high, that is going to destroy the window. Now, you have to be careful. If you don't want to jegbese, the meaning of jegbese in English is if you don't want to pay damages. If you are going to be using the cement dissolver, it has to be that the window is very bad. And sincerely, some of us are not, some of us are not careful. Some of us are not, we don't have that patience to understand that you can actually soak your windows before, you understand, even thinking of using. Most times when we do windows, I can't even remember us even using acid, dissolver on windows. The point is, I always tell my team, be patient. What you are going to be using is use your neutral cleaner. After using your neutral cleaner, I see some of us, you are doing post-construction and you are carrying Window-Lean. They are not. If you are doing that, you are not a professional. I'm telling you, you don't need Window-Lean. You understand? You don't need that your Window-Lean. You want to go and do a skyscraper, and you carry Window-Lean, to the skyscraper, and you now start saying that you are spraying it and you are removing. No. That's not done. There are processes to it. Your neutral cleaner is a fantastic one for your window cleaning. Ensure you soak it. After soaking it, your scraper. Some of people can use blade, but you must be able to use blade properly. Not every of your staff can use it properly. And when they're doing it, they have to be patient. That's why window cleaning, some of us that are charging, you understand that you don't charge anyhow. So if you charge anyhow, it requires, because windows can take a lot of time before you can actually do a proper job. So you don't necessarily need your O4 to be able to do your windows. Yeah, you don't. Your acid, if you're going to be using the cement dissolver for windows, it should be a later, approach. Don't rush in using acid. For post-construction, for using O4, your neutral cleaner, you must have a neutral cleaner for post-construction, because your neutral cleaner, you will use it for bringing out all the dust down first. You use your stripper, you have your polish, yeah, you have your diamond pads. There are different, there are different things that you can use for your post-construction cleanup. So it's not necessarily the O4 that every one of us, we are always talking about. I don't know if that answered your question. Elshien Scrub, Aisha. Now, then also, is it better to charge clients by the numbers of windows, doors, and floors when charging? The challenge I have is with the flooring. Unlike outside the country that they charge per square meter, I don't know if the same is applicable here in Nigeria. Now, there are some clients that we charge also per square meter. So it depends on the kind of clients that you're dealing with. So if you're dealing with some corporate clients, some of them might tell you that how much are you doing per square meter? There's sometimes per square meter makes your job even very easy. So maybe you have like, they've already given you maybe like a 5,000 total square footage. It's easier for you to know what you are going to be using. So like maybe you are using a stripper, for example, you will know how many kegs of stripper you are going to be using when they give you the total square footage. So like on each of these, on each of the products, the manufacturer have done the job for us. So what they have done is they will tell you the total square footage that you are going to use for a particular product. So for example, if you're going to be buying Django polish now for like a 400, if I'm right, like 400 square foot, you understand, you will use a 5-liter keg. So that's the polish. So if the client tells you now that you are going to be, you have a 5,000 square footage, it's easier for you to now be able to do what? To be able to calculate. So it depends on your clients, the kind of clients that you're dealing with. So you can use, not that we don't use square footage in Nigeria, we do, but it depends on the clients. Another thing is when you want to also charge per window, yeah, you can decide that the number of windows, you can decide to charge per window if you want to. We charge per window when we are doing our calculations, you know, like we want to do windows, we already know, okay, we need to count how many windows we have to be able to charge. Then when we want to do our floor, you want to know the total square footage that you have. I don't know if that answers your question. So anyway, I don't know, maybe we have any other question. I think the last question
now is going to be
that Madam Precious should tell us the difference between agrochemicals and the public health chemicals, so that, you know, some of us, we don't, you're welcome. Yes, you're welcome. So that we don't mix it together. So hold on.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so beautiful people. So I hope you're enjoying the Air Business Clinic. Is indeed really a clinic. I don't know what to call my sis, whether she's a general practitioner, medical general. I've been she's a surgeon. I've been a consultant, because the way she dissected the questions from the clinic side, oh my God. I'm learning too. In fact, I've learned something beautiful here this morning. You know, the beauty of life is that we learn from one another. You know, the more you learn, the more you know more. And the more you know, the more edge you have. You know, that's what knowledge is all about. Okay, so concerning agrochemicals and public health chemicals, there are two different things. Now, sometimes you can see a product that is, let me use this active ingredient, maybe something like lambda cyhalothrin, or let me use or deltametrine, any active ingredients that you know. And when they tell you that this is agro product, actually that's insecticide is designed for agricultural use. And that's why they will write it there. This is designed for agricultural use only, okay? Now, when a product is designed for agricultural use, it is specifically designed for field pest control. You know, when I was talking about where we can have pest issues, I never knew that this question will come up. When I was talking about field pest issues, that is in a farm,
construction pest issues or structural pest issues, and stuff like that. Now, whatever product that you see in the market that is labeled agricultural use is actually designed for pests that are affecting farm produce in the field. Okay, that particular product may have lambda cyhalothrin or deltamethrin or fipronil as the active ingredients. But number one, the toxicity of that product is actually designed for the field. Okay, so that's why the ladder dose 50 is usually high as compared to that is designed for public health. Okay, its toxicity level is high. The LD50, of course, it will also be high. And then the concentration too will also be high. So it's designed for the field and it's not meant for public health or where human being dwells, where human beings interface. Of course, you know that when it's done in the field, it's open to air, it's open to environmental factors. And when you read that label, they will tell you that when such product is applied, you should leave that the re-entry period into that place should be 7 days, within 5 to 7 days. It's believed that by that time, the toxicity of that insecticide or pesticide or whatever you applied must have broken down so that you can now re-enter, harvest, or do whatever you want to do in that farm. So that's about agrochemicals. Now, for the public health, as the name implies, it is called public health pesticide or public health insecticide or whatever. Okay, it is designed to be used where human beings dwells, where human beings interface. And when you look at the MSDS of this product, the toxicity is not as high as that of the agricultural product because it's meant for where human beings ought to be, so that it will not have adverse effects on human. In fact, most times what they will write on the label is that this product is unlikely to cause harm if it is properly used. And when World Health Organization Pesticide Evaluation Scheme is registering products or accepting products according to their standard, they classify products based on highly toxic, slightly toxic, moderately toxic, unlikely to cause harm, which is the 4, IV. Any product that you see that is written I or II or III, most times it's not designed for public health. Go and check any level of public health or agricultural product that you have and check this thing I'm telling you, okay? And of course, in all these regulatory bodies like NAFDAC and maybe Federal Ministry of Environment or whatever, okay? When they are giving out signs, most ones for public health, what they will put there is what? Caution, okay? Because we also classify pesticide based on these warning signs. Any pesticide that you see human skull and bone, it's not designed for public health. That is telling you that that product is highly hazardous or slightly hazardous. It's not meant to be used in public health. And even if at all it will be used, there are restrictions to it. And even to people that can use it. It's not meant for everybody. Okay? But any product that is labeled for public health, especially for professional use too, for public health, you will always see that it will be IV, okay? And what they will put there is caution sign or warning sign. Do you understand? Telling you that it's also toxic, but the toxicity level is not as high as that of the agricultural products, pesticide or insecticide, okay? Sometimes you see that the ladder dose is something like 2,000 to 20,000 millimeter parts per million, okay? You will see 2,000 to 20,000. Meanwhile, that of the agricultural products, you'll be seeing something like 50 milligram, 100 milligram, and stuff like that. in toxicity level, of course, when something is 50 milligram, that it will constitute an issue, that is the letter dose, and the other one is 2,000 to constitute an issue, of course, you know what that means. That means that 50 mil of this is enough to cause serious trouble. And the other one is 2,000 mils. I don't know whether you're getting the picture that I'm trying to give you. Do you understand? Okay. So that means for the other one to have an issue, that means you will take like 20,000 or 2,000 of it, between 2,000 and 20,000. And the other one, sometimes it's 50 mil, sometimes it's 100 mil, and then the issue, it can have serious health impacts on human health. So that's why when product is registered and is stated for public health, it has already gone experimental stages, and regulatory bodies have done some testings to actually agree. Of course, there are a lot of testing process that it undergoes, using different species of animals to do that test. Okay, and they would do the neurological test, they would do skin test, they would do hematology test. There are a whole lot of tests that is being done for a product to be labeled public health. And when that product is labeled public health, it means it can be used where human being dwells, where human being interface. But of course, in Nigeria, because of costs, probably a particular public health product is being sold for 90,000, 80,000. The cheapest ones you can be having is maybe 35, 40, 45. And you buy that product, and maybe the clients, depending on how you display your expertise and stuff like that, and of course the purchasing power too, because these are the factors that affects the pricing, especially in Nigeria. Okay, it's part of the factors. And of course, somebody is pricing you 10,000 for 3-bedroom flats, pricing you 15,000 for 3-bedroom flats, pricing you 20,000, and you have a pesticide product to purchase 80,000, 50,000, 80,000, 40,000 or thereabouts. You just look at it. And probably a bottle of maybe another Lambda, agro pesticide, agro insecticide, Lambda cyhalothrin or deltamethrin or whatever, is 4,500, 3,500 or stuff like that. Person will quickly go and buy it. But we forget the impact of that product on the health of the inhabitants of that space where you want to apply it. Okay, but I have this proposal that it's true that public health products are expensive, but the truth remains that when that product is bought, you cannot use that 80,000 public health insecticide in one space. Of course, in calculating for quantities to take, the manufacturer will also state the quantity that you're going to use depending on your calibration and all that. Okay, I don't want to go into calibration because that one is another issue on its own. Okay, now if you have calibrated your equipment based on your speed and other things, the indices that we use in calibrating equipment, and it's believed that between 8 to 10 liters of water, using that your equipment can do that 3-bedroom for you. Some of these public health pesticide will be labeled for maybe 80. Let me use MC Delta, for instance. For MC Delta, for you to use MC Delta for 8 to 10 liters, you won't take more than 50 mil. Okay? No matter how highly infested that place is, you won't take more than 50 mil, because ideally it's 30 mil for 8 to 10 liters. That's what is stated. But because the infestation we are dealing with here in Nigeria is different from what they deal with out there. Do you understand? So we usually give and take. For that high infestation, it shouldn't be more than 50. Okay? So by the time you take that 50 mil out of that 1 liter, you still have 950 mil to do that job. Okay? And at the long run, you will still make out that money that you use in buying that product. Okay? What about Tempo? What about Responsa? What about other ones? You know, what you always look at is, no, it's very expensive. But by the time you break it down, okay, and look at the quantity you are taking, some people will go and buy agrochemicals and they will use 250 mil, 300. Even somebody I went, in the course of inspection, I went to a company, I was asking, okay, how many mils of this you take when you want to, if you have a call for, for a job, something, say, we'll take like 500 mil. I put my hand on my head. And this product you're talking about is DDVP. Yes, DDVP. You take 500 mil, I say, which equipment are you using it with? Because that equipment will also die with that concentration of that amount. You can use that. You cannot try it with public health. Okay? Some people used to look at it, will it work? It's working. It's working perfectly well. So please, agricultural products, agricultural insecticide, agricultural pesticide are purely designed for the field crops. All those pests, Lepidoptera, Hemiptera, Diptera, and all the rest of that affects crops in the field. You know why some of these things work in a house? Because there's some of these things that is labeled for Diptera. Of course, mosquito is a Diptera. And you know, most of these products, they are broad spectrum. Do you understand? Okay? They are broad spectrum. Okay? And that's why it's also working. But we are looking at the impact on human health. And the more you use this in the house, most of these pests will begin to develop what we call resistance to them. And you know, our people, what they are used to, if they use Lambda today, let me use Atake as an example, or Cyperforce. Is that Cyperforce that they will use all through their life. All through their life cycle, as far as treatments for pest management is concerned. Every facility, that's what they will carry. Every cycle, treatment cycle, that's what they will carry. And we're exposing this thing to these mosquitoes. And these mosquitoes are living things too. They also have, you know, they'll begin to. No, but it's true. Do you understand? You understand? Okay? And then gradually, you are exposing them to high dose. Because some of us believe that is when you tilt it up, that's when you work well, and the things smell well. That's where they believe that the work is coming from. But it's not true. You are exposing them to high concentration. It will get to a point. I don't also want to go into the issue of resistance, because if I go there, we will not close. I'm telling you. Okay? And then before you know it, what happens? You will go back there to carry out the insecticidal spray, and the mosquitoes are all over the place, biting these people like they have never before, because they're angry. So that is it. So agricultural products are not meant for public health. Public health products are meant for household, where human beings dwell.
Wow.
So that's about that.
Wow. Wow. Please, if you know you have learned so much on this call today,
Can we see you saying yes? Can we get a yes? I have learned so much. I've learned so much. And I'm growing. If you know that you have learned so much, and this was what. Yeah. So can we see you? Can we see your clap? Give us some. Yes. Thank you so much, my sister for life. She's my boss in the industry.
See my girl. See my girl. I beg go. Now my sister. Now my. I'll go. That is my anchor, you know.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate it. And it's going to be another day next month. If you're on the group, we are going to be like we continue this discussion, and we are looking forward to fantastic time together. We are going to ensure that we grow together. We grow together. And this is just to tell every one of us. So we have a training coming on next month. And I'm going to be facilitating, and Madam Precious will be facilitating. It's a time for every one of us to, so it's a time for every one of us to actually join. The training is October 9th, 10th, and 11th. So we're going to be having pest control training. And it's the cheapest pest control I've seen in the industry. 20,000 naira. 20,000 naira. So can you imagine? 20,000 naira. And we are going to be having these topics. How to start a pest control business with minimal funds, residential pest control, commercial pest management, equipment used in pest control with how to operate, safety in pest control, mosquito, habitat biology and control, and habitat biology and control, rodent control, habitat biology and control, how to obtain approved national license for pest control in Nigeria, and of course, pesticides. So you do not want to miss it. And just for 20,000 naira. That's 50,000. The online is 15,000 naira only. So if you know that you want to be trained properly, then you have to register now. You can actually pay in instrumental. So if you want to pay 2,000 naira today, go and pay. If you want to pay 5,000, go and pay. The whole essence is we are building ourselves together. And the cleaning also that we are having, the same thing, October 9th, 10th, and 11th. We're going to be having practicals, post-construction cleaning, structure, residential cleaning, upholstery and carpets, janitorial cleaning, practicals, too many, over 10 courses. And it's just for 50,000 naira physical, and online is 40,000 naira. Guess what? It's also the cheapest in the industry. So a lot of, so I have some trainers that called me and said, Daddy, why are you making it? I said, you know what? We all have different vision. This is our vision as a company. We want to be able to empower a lot of us in the industry. So you don't want to learn. You need to learn and you need to train. You can't sit down and think you are going to grow your business by not learning, by not training. You have to put something down to gain knowledge. It's not every time you will get free knowledge. Free knowledge is literally you can get with free knowledge. But when you actually pay, you can get free knowledge. Especially when you pay to people that know. You can get so much. Somebody that knows what you need to know the people that are behind the training. You need to know the people that way as the training. So if
if you want to
training,
register,
you
you
a
can
lot. Register, you
send a
can
DM
send a DM to
A Mobile
A
Group
Mobile Group
Academy,
Academy,
either
either
on
on
Facebook,
Facebook or
if
if
you're
you're
on
on
YouTube,
YouTube because we're on YouTube Live.
So
So on the
you can
YouTube,
actually send a message to us,
you can
or
actually
you
send
send
it,
to
or you send to
Instagram page, Facebook
Instagram
page,
page, Facebook
all
page,
our customer
all our
service, they are
customer
waiting,
service, they are
or
waiting,
you can
or you can send a message to 0802 966 0956. So everyone
is called
come
now.
now. You need to register for the October diet. We are ready.
Every one of us is ready, and it's going to be well. If you know you have enjoyed this program today, I'm sure you are going to expect, yeah, you know that you are going to expect
so much,
in our October diet training. So thank you once again for joining.
And we hope to see you next month at the business clinic. But before then, we hope to see you in our training, in our class, where we are going to be building a big team together. And thank you to our facilitators. We appreciate you for coming. Thank you for always coming. And if you know that you're looking for a consultant in Econ, let me tell you, she knows a lot about how you can join different associations, Econ, this is aligned, and she's powerful. That pest control, me, I'm going to be in the class learning like this on that day from her. And we are going to have practical on that day. Thank you so much. Look forward to myself and Madam Obiora. We still have so much talk that we are going to let out into the industry. By the grace of God, we are pulling each other. That's what we tell each other every day. We need to pull each other out. We need to pull each other. And that's what we have been doing to each other up. And that's so thank you so much. And you have a lovely week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Hey.
Anna, thanks, my dialysis. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ma'am. Let me pause now and talk out of it. I'm going to go and arrange that.